back with part 1 of How to Become a Straight A Student by Cal Newport. And if you haven't watched the intro video earlier, this again is I'm a disclaimer of a straight A student. This is actually me doing a book review, talking about the book in details, about some of the habits of what straight A student does, because I'm a student myself, and me or you are here because we're trying to make good A's, good grades. Okay, so but this video is part 1, and part 1 talks about the study habits of a straight A student. And so the other videos are going to be about part 2 and part 3, which is about part 2 is about the quizzes and the exams, and part 3 is about the essays and the papers. But part 1 is actually broken, and then I have this book with me to keep my thoughts in check. But part 1 is actually broken down into 3 sections: step 1 and 2 and 3. And step 1 is about managing your time every day, making time every day to write down everything what you have going on for the day. The 2 tools that you need is a calendar, and you need some sticky notes to write down your tasks. And with the calendar, I do this myself, and so when I read this, I was just like, okay, I'm doing something right. Finally, I'm doing something right. But I do have I hate that I'm not at home to show you what my calendar look like, but I am going to describe it. I did get it from Walmart, and it's a dry erase board calendar. And I write, the dates, and I write down all of my assignments that's due, as well as the tasks, important tasks that's going, upcoming events that's important events that's important, to write down. And then I have a sticky notes, and you actually write down it's best to do it hour by hour, what exactly you have going on, because if you don't write down all of your stuff, if you go throughout your day, you're just gonna forget, or you're just gonna have a lot going, because it's a lot going on in your mind if you don't write it down. But the point is to record all of your to-dos and deadlines. But on your calendar, well, it was telling you on the task when you're writing down the sticky note to divide it into 2 columns. And the first column would be today's schedule, write down okay, your class, nap, whatever, however your day is. And then on the other column, put things to remember, pay a bill, or stuff like that. And it was talking about a lot of really good things. And then another thing it was talking about, step 2 was saying declare war on procrastination, because as a student we all struggle with procrastination. And so they kind of broken that down. Step 2, they broken that down into 5 procrastination battle plans. And the first battle plan it talked about was to keep a progress journal, and that really did stuck out to me kind of the most, because we all have excuses on why we didn't get this done, excuses on why we didn't get that done. But if you have a progress journal and write down everything you're supposed to do, and then whatever you do, after you write down everything you're supposed to do, if you do it, check it off. If you didn't, actually explain why you didn't do it, because it's easy to tell yourself, it's easy to tell yourself excuses. But if you're writing it down on an actual journal, you're actually exposing yourself into okay, yeah, I'm really playing, it exposes your bad habits. It's okay, I didn't do this because I was doing that. And eventually you get tired of writing down the same thing, and hopefully it motivates you to actually get your task done. And procrastination battle plan number 2 was talking about feeding the actual machine, you know, feeding your brain. Talked about how, you know, when you drink water, it increases your energy, it masks boredom, food cravings, starts off the sleepiness. And then it was giving advice that when you're studying, you want to get up at least like 3 to 5 times, take 3 to 5 little small, you know, drinking breaks, because you know, it just keeps you moving, keep you up and moving. And you want to do that like 3 to like 5 times every like 45 to an hour. So when you're studying doing that, you know, you're constantly getting up, so you're constantly like doing something. You're not, you know, just bored or, you know, hungry, because, you know, when you drink, it kind of tricks you into thinking you're kind of full. So yeah, that was battle number 2 with the feeding your machine. And another thing it was talking about was monitoring your caffeine intake. It was saying that, you know, because we're guilty of taking like Bull and, you know, Red Bull and, you know, all those types of energy drinks, and, you know, it's good that moment, but it's really bad at the end because you're tired. And then it also like it just makes you really tired and increases your appetite as far as like taking energy drinks and, you know, eating candy, eating sugar. Like, it gives you that energy at the moment, but at the end it makes you tired and it increases your appetite. So be careful on, you know, taking the caffeines and, you know, the sugar. And when we're eating to study, we're eating for a source of energy and not for satisfaction. Because if you eat for satisfaction, you're just going to get sleepy and all that. So you have to eat like smart foods, you know, something light, like fruit and vegetables, you know, snacks that promotes long-term energy boosts and not just, you know, stuff that makes you tired. And if you're constantly drinking water like you're supposed to, you're not going to be as hungry, you know. So and then the fourth thing it was talking about when it comes to feeding the machine was saying not to skip meals, you know, because it's kind of common sense that, you know, you don't want to skip any meals because it's terrible. And then procrastination plan number 3 was talking about making an event out of the worst task. Because, you know, everybody has that one assignment that, you know, it's kind of hard to start, that one big assignment that you just have to do, you know, that 15-page paper that you have to do, or, you know, this big project that's going to take like 3 months to do. But, you know, with those projects, besides doing it on campus, it's best to find a place like Barnes & Nobles or, you know, Starbucks and start on those projects. Because, you know, it's a psychological thing. You know, if you're in a different environment, it just puts you in this whole new form of, you know, self-motivation to actual start. Because, you know, the key is to actually start. Like, once we start and get going, you know, we're here. Like, once we start and get going, you know, we gonna get it, okay? So and when you are away, you know, studying and tackling those big projects, make sure you tell people that you're doing it and have them encourage you, so you won't have any distractions or you won't have any reasons to leave that place, you know, because you want to start and you want to finish on, you know, at the same day, the same time. But procrastination plan number 4 was talking about building an actual routine with your assignments, you know, like, let's say pick Tuesdays and Thursdays to tackle, you know, the statistics and history, and then, you know, you got Mondays and Wednesdays to tackle, you know, microbiology and, you know, anatomy 1, you know, anatomy 2, you got all of those. Like, you know, the more organized you are with the days that you're supposed to study, the easier it is to, you know, keep up with your schedule, you know. It's just, the more organized you are, the easier it is to keep up. And procrastination plan number 5, the last plan it had when it comes to declaring war with procrastination, is choose your hard days. By that, you know, depending on what major you have, you might have to have 2 hard days, you know, because hard days, I mean pick a day to actual study all day, you know. That plays a big part itself. And the key is to plan them in advance, like do it ahead of time. And because you don't want to do it when you have a test coming up, because it has a negative impact on what you're doing, because you're doing it for a wrong reason. And when you're doing it for the right reason, it has a positive impact. And you know, and at the same time, you want to plan something fun before and after you do it, because you know that reward, it plays a big part. And you know, one idea is study all day Saturday, party that night, and then take Sunday off, and then come back, you know, strong Monday or Tuesday with another hard day, you know, studying all day. And then the last step when it comes to covering a straight A student study habits is choosing when, where, and how long to study. And when the best time to study is early. The earlier you can study, the better, because you know, the more you get done, because there's a lot that goes on in the daytime. And, you know, it's just a lot of distractions, and you know, a lot of unplanned events that just takes place, and then you get frustrated. And, you know, you kind of got to be antisocial sometimes. The whole plan is to not be antisocial during the day. Like, not during the day, but like at night, because you want that night to dedicate to, you know, just to chill, relax, and, you know, watch your favorite TV shows that comes on. And so the earlier you can get stuff done, like even before class starts, like get up a couple hours and do some homework before class starts, or bring your materials with you throughout the day. So if you have time between classes, like skip that gossip time and just go to not a gym, but if you can study at a gym, go to a gym, but study at you know, anywhere on campus, anywhere that's like isolated on campus. But and then it also talks about by 7 and 8 p.m. your focus is weak at its best. So in between the times where you're up and the time where you're eating dinner is basically the time where you're most effective. So you want to get as much done as you can within those time intervals. And so another thing it was talking about was where to study. You want to have different, the ideal is to have an isolation place, like wherever you can be totally isolated from your distraction is a good place to study. And then not only have an isolation, but have multiple places, you know, on campus or something to study. Like it's a psychological thing to you know, have a different place each time. Like if you're outside, look inside and pick another place, you know, tomorrow or where you want to study. But it all plays a part. Like it's a mental thing. Like if you're in a new environment, you're just, you know, happy. So it kind of boosts that self-motivation itself if you're at a different place each time you study. Like that played a big part too. And I tried that, and yeah, it works. I studied outside before. I even studied at the rec on campus, like where the beach. We don't have a beach on campus. I wish we did though. But like, you know, where the pool is, like I've been outside in the pool before, you know, don't even know anybody, but just, you know, chill, but I know they're not gonna bother me, you know what I'm saying? So I read my assignment for that week, you know, and it really did help. And so, you know, you got your when, you got your where, and then the next step is how long. You don't want to study for more than an hour without a break. And in this book, it was the ideal break is 5 to 10 minutes. So you want to study for an hour and take like a 5 to 10 minute break. And when you're taking that break, make sure it's a break that requires you to do something at that consistent 5 to 10 minute. Like if you have an event coming up, you know, take that 5 to 10 minutes and plan that event. And when you get done with that event, come back to, you know, studying. So like, or if you have, you know your bathroom needs to be clean, take that break, clean the toilet real quick, and, you know, come back and study. You know, do something like productive during your break, because you don't want to do anything that's like too distracting, it kind of makes you not want to go back into, it doesn't put you back in that study habit mode when you go back to studying. But it was basically that part was basically encouraging you to take a break every hour when you're studying. And of course, don't forget when you're studying to take your drinks, water and all of that. So yeah, that was it for part 1, which covered the basic studies of how a straight A student would study. But hopefully that did help, because it really did help me. And part 2 and 3, it just gets even better. So stay tuned for part 2 and 3. Once again, I'm Lev Marie, not a straight A student, but we're a straight A student from here on out, okay? Because we're going to claim it. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, be productive, and be great.